If you're just getting started with Etsy and print on demand and you're feeling totally overwhelmed by the question of what to sell or which niche to choose, I see you. If you're constantly hearing pick a niche, pick a niche, pick a niche, perhaps you're feeling the pressure of it all as well. This notion of choosing the perfect profitable niche trips up almost every new seller I've talked to. So let's take the pressure off today and simplify the mindset behind this whole niche thing. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to approach niche selection when you're new, how to find pockets of demand, how to test ideas without getting stuck, and how to make smart decisions that lead to real growth. We'll talk about the main niche themes I recommend starting with, including examples that are working right now, but more importantly, I'll show you how to validate your ideas so you're not guessing or hoping. You'll leave this video knowing what to look for, where to start, and how to move forward with clarity. In case you haven't met yet, my name is Mandy, a busy boy mom and active top 1% seller on Etsy. I've spent years learning what works, and so now I am on a mission to help creative entrepreneurs like you feel confident in growing your Etsy business with print on demand so that your products can get seen, loved, and sold without the overwhelm. Now let's start with why this decision matters, but also why it doesn't have to feel so high stakes. When you're starting out, it's easy to think that your entire success hinges on picking the one perfect niche from day one. But the reality is, your first niche doesn't have to be your forever one. In fact, it probably won't be. Mine definitely was not. What matters more is choosing something that has clear buyer demand so you can start building, testing, and learning. This is the data gathering phase. You're not locking yourself into a lifelong Etsy commitment. You're giving yourself a place to start. Because on Etsy, clarity doesn't come from thinking, it comes from doing. You ultimately end up refining as you go, and you learn by launching and testing. So yes, choosing a niche matters, but only because it gets you in motion. It gives you some initial focus, it gives your designs some purpose, and your strategy a direction. Think of your first niches as more like a launch pad and less like a life sentence. All right, now that we've taken the pressure off needing to pick the perfect niche, let's talk about how to actually find a profitable one. Because here's the deal. Success on Etsy doesn't come from guessing what people might want. It comes from looking at what people are already searching for and already buying. That's where your niche opportunity lives. So step one, start with the data. One of my favorite tools for this is eRank. You can use their keyword tool to see what people are typing into Etsy every month as an estimate. Here's what you're looking for: moderate to high monthly search volume. I personally like to look for at least a few hundred searches taking place each month. If there is no demand or a low volume of demand, your sales volume potential is also at risk of being much lower. I also look for lower to moderate competition. Competition is not a bad thing, but targeting specific searches for specific identities helps you get your foot in the door faster, and you can always build from there. Bonus points if the niche has gifting potential or seasonal spikes that you can take advantage of throughout the year. For example, instead of just searching teacher shirt, which is super competitive, you can drill down into other recommended searches to look at more specific terms like teacher retirement gift or math teacher shirt. You want to find those sweet spots where people are searching, but the market isn't completely flooded. Then step two, you're going to validate what's actually selling. So once you've got a few promising keyword ideas, go straight to Etsy and validate the demand. If you found something for first grade teacher appreciation, go type in the core niche of first grade teacher in the Etsy search bar. Etsy is your source of truth, always. From there, don't just scroll. Observe. Do multiple listings have bestseller or popular now badges? Or my favorite little red magic words like in carts when you click into the listing? Etsy now rotates what's on the first page. So I like to filter by star seller, then go to the URL bar at the top and change the star to best to bring them all to the front. Look for demand of variations using similar messages or themes for that customer identity. Are there different products that are actively selling? Is it all shirts that customers are buying, or do you see other products in demand as well? This gives you a further clue on what to potentially sell. And if you're not seeing any of that, no badges, no pattern of sales, no signs of demand, that, my friend, is a red flag. It could potentially be too early or too specific of a niche, or just not a niche with strong purchase intent. Ultimately, though, no demand equals no sales. Your mission is to find the niches and sub niches with visible demand. That demand means that there is also sales, and sales are what make a niche profitable. Even the best design won't move if nobody's searching for it or willing to spend money in that space. What we're doing here is not just about finding the one. It's about identifying a starting point with potential. You're looking for clues. What's trending? What's gaining traction? Where shoppers are already spending money. And once you find a pocket of demand that feels aligned with your interests and customer identity, that's where you test, create, and build. Focus on finding at least a handful of niches that do have demand. Prioritize working on those first and build from there. You can always stack in smaller niches along the way, but prioritize demand first because that's where you'll find the profitability. So now you know how to find proof that a niche has demand. But maybe you're still thinking, okay, but I still don't know where to start. There's like 1,000,001 potential niches out there. Let's do this. When you're new to Etsy print on demand, the hardest part is narrowing it down without overthinking it. That's why I like to group niches into 5 core themes. These are categories I recommend for beginners because they tend to have high emotional connection, clear customer identities, evergreen and trend potential, proven buyer demand in several areas within them, and they give you tons of creative freedom to explore and build on sub niches along the way, which means they're scalable. The first one is hobbies. This is one of the easiest ways to tap into customer identity without overcomplicating things. People love repping their favorite pastimes, especially when it's personalized, funny, or giftable. Some examples are like gardeners, book lovers, runners, even scrapbookers, home bakers, sourdoughs having a moment for a while, sports parents, or bird watchers. These work well for pairing simple humor or affirmations with trendy design aesthetics. The next one is professions. Jobs are a huge part of people's identity, and designs that speak to those everyday experiences or struggles can be in huge demand if you get the tone right. For example, think of things like school counselor humor or register nurse appreciation shirts with bold typography and inside jokes. Professions are also the perfect place for giftable products going into Q4, such as ornaments or even journals. The next one, pet ownership. If you've ever talked to a dog mom, you know this one has loyal fans. Pet parents are always looking for ways to celebrate and sometimes lovingly roast their fur babies. For example, sentimental gifts related to pet memorials or humorous tones reminiscent of "my dog is my therapist" are both angles that have done well. Get specific with different types of breeds and even different types of pets as well. Think outside the box, like chickens, even. Bonus if you can tie in holidays or aesthetic design trends. Next up, life milestones. These are the big moments. Think bachelorette parties, pregnancy announcements, retirement, milestone birthdays for kids and adults, weddings, and people shop for them year round. These events and milestones happen throughout the year. So, some of these examples could include specific themes for bachelorettes, like coastal, or gifts for future grandparents as baby announcements, or retirement mugs with a side of humor, which could even be combined with the profession's themes. These life events are driven by gifting and emotion, which is definitely the sweet spot for sales on Etsy. And finally, personal passions. These are the deeper values that people care about. Think faith, mental health, neurodivergence, advocacy, awareness, individual identities. If it matters to someone personally, it can absolutely work in your shop. So, for example, neurospicy and unbothered ADHD designs, or even social justice awareness tees that evoke peaceful strength. These resonate because they mean something to someone. Now, for all of these themes, you don't need to hit on all five. You don't even need to go super deep on any one just yet. There's no right answer locked in some secret Etsy vault. What you're doing right now is building your foundation that's rooted in data. And foundations are allowed to be a little messy. So, what I do recommend doing though is number one, pick a theme you feel drawn to so that you can start to narrow your focus, even just a little bit. These are all proven themes. You can't go wrong with picking a theme. And then within that, identify a few specific niches within each to do a little more research and validation on, like we talked about earlier, to find those profitable niches. Start with what you know or that you personally relate to or that perhaps applies to someone else you know. For example, I'm a soccer mom, so that might lead me to hobbies as a theme that I start with, and then I might decide to start with targeting other sports moms, such as volleyball moms, fellow soccer moms, cheer moms, and so on, after validating that there's demand for them. And then step two of this is committing to creating at least 15 to 20 listings in each of the sub niches and testing out a variety of designs and styles based on what you're seeing in demand on Etsy. Not one, not five, a full batch. If it's sports moms, that means I'm going to batch 15 to 20 listings for soccer moms, 15 to 20 listings for volleyball moms, and so on. Why? Because one listing isn't data, it's a shot in the dark. Think of this as a collection for that customer. A collection will help you determine what's resonating and what's not. And it gives you enough information to then start looking at the data. And in this collection, I'm creating different designs on one product type to see what generates that connection and ultimately leads to sales. And then as you're listing these new batches, I want you to give them at least 30 to 45 days with solid SEO and mockups. Let them run. Don't panic if sales don't happen overnight. That's normal. You might not even get any sales in the first 45 or 60 days of those listings. That can also be normal. But I want you to then start looking at your results after a period of time has passed. Are certain listings getting more views, favorites, or sales? Are certain design styles getting more attention than others? Is a particular niche starting to feel like a better fit over the others? If yes, great. Double down as you see that data. Expand with variations, new angles, or seasonal spins. The point is, make more for those customers when you identify what's starting to work. And if not, also great. That means you're collecting data and can continue making decisions and experimenting. Choose a new sub niche to experiment with. Reaffirm your design styles and make sure that they are related to what you're seeing out in the marketplace that people are actually buying. Repeat the process and get even smarter with your next batch. If you want to take a deeper dive into how I do this process of listing and then reviewing data, I'll link my 30-day growth video for you below as well. And remember, if you're still sitting here thinking, okay, this all sounds great, but I still feel stuck, I also just want to say sometimes we find ourselves in the part of the journey where things just feel messy and unclear. And honestly, that's normal. Dare I say, even necessary, because no Etsy shop becomes profitable without testing, adjusting, and being willing to take action before everything feels perfectly figured out. But here's the good news: you don't have to do it alone. I'm here showing up for you every week with new videos to help you along the way. And of course, inside my Simply Thrive membership, I help creative entrepreneurs just like you take the guesswork out of this process with step-by-step trainings, monthly trend reports, and niche highlights, and even AI-powered tools to help you research smarter and find your momentum just a little bit faster. And soon I'll also be introducing a new team of mentors inside the membership. Each of them are successful six-figure sellers, some of whom have been with me practically since day one. And all of them are eager to continue sharing their knowledge and expertise to support members even more. So if you're tired of riding the Etsy struggle bus on your own, this is your invitation to join us. You'll find clarity, structure, and a community that gets it and is growing with you. I'll drop the link to join below, and if you're not quite ready yet, no pressure. Just make sure you're subscribed here because I've got more videos coming to help you simplify, grow, and thrive on Etsy with purpose. And in the meantime, keep learning and taking action. You've got this, my friend. Focus on progress over perfection, always. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I will see you in the next one.